The rape of Nanking occurred during December 1937. At the time, Nanking had been the capital of China, and the Japanese army entered Nanking in an orderly fashion as per the orders of General Matsui. After arrival in Nanking, the Japanese army killed the Chinese soldiers who had surrendered and then began to comb the city for civilian men they suspected for being former soldiers. The few Chinese soldiers who escaped when the Japanese soldiers first arrived managed to get to safety to Hiskuan Gate, where they were captured and killed, or killed while trying to fight off the Japanese. At least 250,000 people died at Nanking, mainly by bayoneting or being shot by machine guns. Others even were buried alive or half buried and left for the dogs. Some even were decapitated. The Japanese soldiers used the decapitation of citizens and soldiers as a sort of competition between themselves, and it was even posted in their newspapers as shown in the next picture. We were taught that we were a superior race since we lived only for the sake for a human emperor. But the Chinese were not, so we held nothing but contempt for them. The imperial army was consumed with a prejudice so intense that killing became easy. This was said by a former Japanese soldier to explain why he thought they were able to commit the acts which they committed in Nanking and to the rest of China. This was said in a CNN interview in 1998. Deeply rooted religious and cultural and a long-existent anti-Chinese sentiment contributed to the dehumanized behavior of the Japanese, along with the social impact theory, which says that the impact of any source of influence depends on the strength, immediacy, and number of influences of individuals involved. The capture of Nanking was the most overwhelming defeat suffered by the Chinese, and one of the most tragic military defeats in the history of the modern warfare. In attempting to defend Nanking, the Chinese allowed themselves to be surrounded and then systematically slaughtered. By despoiling the city and population, the Japanese have driven deeper into Chinese and repressed hatred of anti-Japaneseism that Tokyo professes to fighting to eradicate in China today.